My parents immigrated to Canada. I was born here. One foot in their story, one foot in this country's. For a long time, those felt separate. But eventually I had to ask myself a hard question. If I grew up benefiting from the land that was taken without choosing it, do I carry that responsibility of reconciliation? At the time of asking myself this question, I didn't really have an answer. And I thought it would be best to ask other people. This land, the North Shore, is the unceded territory of the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh Nation. Unceded, meaning no treaty was ever signed. It was never surrendered. There are signs and art that show this everywhere. And yet most tourists I talked to have never even heard of Squamish Nation, didn't know what unceded meant. The people who've been here longer, immigrants, people building their lives here, that was a different conversation. A lot of people assumed reconciliation is just about money, a payout. But that's not really what Indigenous leaders are asking for. It's actually pretty low on their list. What they're actually asking for is recognition, language, relationship, and land back. And that last one sparked quite a few questions. Land back. If Indigenous people didn't traditionally believe in ownership, if it was their relationship to the land always being about stewardship and responsibility, not possession, can they really say it's theirs? Isn't that just adopting the colonizer framework? But I think that's the wrong question to be asking, or at least the wrong way to look at it. Land back isn't really about claiming ownership. It's about restoring a relationship that was interrupted. Decision-making, governance, stewardship, all those things being very different. The hard part is that we're even having to use the word ownership at all, because that's the only language the legal system responds to. That framework was imposed, and now everyone has to work inside it, including the people it was imposed on. Some immigrants I talked to said they don't really feel responsibility for this at all, and honestly that's pretty fair. They weren't a part of what happened and they're just trying to make a living. But in the Canadian immigration process, there's actually a call to action built in. It's already there. Most people just don't pay attention to it, and it doesn't really stay with them for the rest of their time here. Reconciliation gets framed as something between the Indigenous and the government. But what about everyone else that lives here? Immigrants, visitors, people just passing through. Where do we fit into this story? I don't think anyone has fully worked this out yet, but I think the first step is recognizing the question exists. My friend Lucas has been working on this project from a little bit of a different angle. I'll let him take it from here.
Hey, my name is Lucas, and I'm working alongside Caleb on behalf of PLP 11. While he's exploring the philosophy of what it's like being a newcomer, I kind of wanted to tackle the more physical side of things, which to me meant diving deeper on what lies beneath the ground we live on. For starters, we often hear the phrase unceded territory, but then I started to wonder, has this just become a Canadian buzzword, or do we actually understand the weight of what we're saying? The more curious side of me wanted to bridge that gap. So I launched a community audit across the North Shore. Through street interviews and interactive posters, I asked both locals and newcomers one simple question. Do you know what unceded actually means? The answers to that question were quite eye-opening. Most people thought it was just a simple, polite, traditional gesture. But when they learned the strict legal reality, that this exact ground was never surrendered or sold by the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh nations, their entire perspective of the space changed. And that right there is exactly where my research collides with Caleb's. Newcomers are often sold the myth of moving toward a clean slate, if you will. But true integration isn't just simply about adopting Canadian culture. It's impossible to be a responsible guest here if you don't acknowledge the unresolved reality of the land we live on.
Thank you for watching this video, and as always, have an amazing day.